Whoa, what's this crazy perspective? Alright, and the intro was a bit misinformative because although this is about perspective, it will be more about buildings and objects. And for this week I will be giving you 4 tips for perspective. Now let's get into it. And yeah, I changed my intro again, and I'm planning to change it even once more. It would be a good exercise not only for beginners but also for more experienced artists, kind of finding the horizon line. And the horizon line is where the vanishing points are, and depending on the picture this can be difficult. Sometimes it's very chaotic and you can't really see where the vanishing point is right away, so you have to look a bit for it, but if you do the right thing you can most likely find it. And this is also a very how would I say it, good to do to kind of get a more better feel to the perspective. You will start to notice some things that you haven't noticed before, and this will make perspective in general more comprehensive, especially for beginners. And so you do this with a bunch of pictures. I took mine from a website with free pictures, and you just start tracing the lines, and most of the time, if you're experienced, you already notice what kind of perspective it is. For example, for this one it's 2-point perspective. I can already see it because of the lines from the left building and the right houses. So also I have drawn this kind of picture before, so it's familiar. The more you do it, the more familiar you will get. So try to kind of do it with pictures that you haven't drawn to make it a bit more challenging. And that was my comic webtoon, webcomic Rat's Crown. It's free. Alright, 1-point perspective. I made a brush with these vanishing points, and this one I use mostly for all kinds of things. It can be buildings that go up to the sky, or a room, like I'm drawing here. And these kind of little doodles are also fun and fast, so if you do that you kind of know what you are able to do with one vanishing point. But I do recommend to not limiting yourself with just vanishing points. I mean, these lines help, but only so much. There's only so much that they can help you with. All the other things have to come from your mind. Where are the doors? Where are the windows? What building is behind it? What building follows what vanishing point? And so you will get that only through practice and by using references. It's always a good idea. As you can see, I also draw some mini human figures, and all the heads are close to the horizon line. Unlike if it's a child, then it's obviously a bit farther away. But anyway, as you can see, to find the middle point, I just do the diagonal lines, and then you can find the center. Now we go on and do a third one, and this one will be, yeah, you guessed it, 3-point perspective. So yeah, we already had that in the first step, where I was tracing that photo to find the horizon line. Now we are making a similar building here, and there is only so much that you can do by just having 3 vanishing points. I guess I did it wrong here a little bit. You see, this is why vanishing points are handy to have. You fixed my mistake here. It's kind of right now. Well, anyway, Now I'll be doing drawing using one of the perspective, vanishing perspective versions that we talked about, and this one will be a 2-point perspective. I haven't used a reference for this one. Stupid, I know, but I want to try something very quick, like a sketch, like maybe 10 minutes or something, and just want to know what comes out, you know. And here I worked on the wrong layer. It happens to all of us. Well, anyway, what can I do like in a quick 10 minutes sketch? And obviously, just without using references, this is like the first building that comes to mind. Like a building in the middle, and then as you get closer to the vanishing points on the left and on the right, you have other buildings. But obviously you have other things that you can do, like the picture that we had in the first pic, where the majority of your canvas was covered on the left side with one building, and the other side had buildings, several buildings that were getting smaller and smaller when it was getting close to the horizon line. You can do this with pencil and eraser. You don't have to do this digitally, although it's sometimes more easier, like with the brush that I made. Vanishing points are just like a one-click thing with this, but you don't have to use this, and on paper you would just make 2 crosses on the horizon line. And there are also some tricks and tips. I saw some pretty cool things using a little rope, or it was an elastic tied to the perspective points. Well, anyway, so yeah, here I did the same thing. You don't have to draw all the windows and doors and details. It's a luxury, like it's a little. Some people may say it's cheating, but for just like quick sketching and doodle things, I guess it's okay. And even for concept art, you know, time matters, especially if you're hand drawing your backgrounds. A lot of people, especially for webcomics and mangas and I don't know, use pictures and they kind of edit them to make them look less like a picture. But honestly, I don't really see, especially in webcomics, webtoons, hand-drawn backgrounds. It's very time consuming. Professional mangas have assistants that do it for them. It takes a while. It's not just sometimes difficult depending on what drawing you're making, but very tedious. There isn't like so much freedom, because you have to kind of, to a certain point, hold yourself to the rules, the perspective points. This is also a webtoon of mine, my very first one, Mask It. It's not the best one I made, but you can read it also for free. I'll link it in the description. So that was it for this week. I hope you learned a thing or two, or just enjoyed the time-lapse of the doodles. Well, anyway, if you want my vanishing point brush, it's free on my Gumroad. Check it out. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.